pressure on. And kids, your friends, bad friends, because it's all about choices. It's really all about choice. Every day you're going to get up and you're going to decide, am I going to have a good day or a bad day? Am I going to make good friends or bad friends? Am I going to take drugs or am I not going to take drugs? Come on, you guys that have experimented with substance abuse, with drugs, things like tik, dagga, mandrakes, things like that. Tik is the big bad one, eh? Isn't it? Now let me ask for a show of hands. Who knows what tik looks like? Okay, do you know what that means? Those people that stuck up their hands have either seen tik or they've used tik. Do you know what? It's not a shame if you've used tik. It's a shame if you carry on using tik. That's a shame. Have you seen those tikkoppen at the robots? They stand like this for hours. And when the tik wears off, what are they doing again? Scuttling. Scuttling for more tik. Okay, who wants to be like that one day? Put up your hands. Do you want to hang on a robot and scuttle for money? Who wants to do that? Nobody. So then don't start by using tik, because that is where it ends up. Tik destroys families. It destroys families. If you come from a family that uses tik, and I'm sure in this hall there are families that use tik, you don't have to be like them. You can be different. You can make a difference. You can break that cycle. And I want to tell you one thing. If you're sitting here today and you're not feeling good enough, you are good enough. Each one of you are good enough. And it's those that feel like the odd one out, that doesn't fit in anywhere, that feels like they're not good enough. Their hairstyle isn't perfect enough when they get to school. Their dress isn't right. People tease them all the time. Those are the ones that are actually called by God to work for Him. We're not meant to fit in. I don't fit in. I'm glad I don't fit in. Because I don't fit in, I'm standing on the stage today. How does that grab you? So I heard the lady saying, MJ, be the change. You can be the change in your house. You're the one who can say, no, I'm going to go to school. No matter how hard it is, I'm going to be there every day. I'm going to say no to drugs, because drugs isn't for me. I don't want to look like him. I don't want to stand at a robot every day. It can't be nice standing holding up a robot every day. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine begging every day for something to eat? It's mos nie lekker nie, huh? Dis nie lekker nie. Waar sien jy jouself in 10 jaar se tyd? In 20 jaar se tyd? Waar sien jy jouself? Dis die vraag wat ek jou vra vandag. Waar sien jy jouself? Ek sit hierso en ek het 'n ex-drug addict hierso saam met my gebring, né? Die ou was 'n doelekop. Weet julle wat 'n doel is? Sê, die ou is 'n ex-doelekop. Hy het doelas gechop elke dag. Hy het nie geworry oor sy familie nie. Hy het sy huis verloor, sy job verloor. Hy het alles verloor, hy het alles verkoop. Hy gaan jou nou vertel. En ek sê julle, luister, want daar's niks beter as om te hoor van iemand wat daardie pad geloop het. Verstaan julle? Ek self, ek kom van die Kaap af. Nie van PE af nie, ek is hier gebore, maar toe ek Kaap toe, daar was ek baie betrokke met drugs en goed. Ek het ook geëxperimenteer. Ek was in nagklubs tot 7 uur in die oggend. My ma het nie eens geweet ek is uit die huis uit nie. Ek het weggehardloop, al die goed. Dis hoekom ek die werk doen vandag, want ek verstaan hoe kinders voel. En ek verstaan hoe dit voel, om te voel, jy is minder as die res. Julle is nie minder as die res nie. Julle is allemaal equal in die oë van God. God het julle allemaal verskaf. En omdat hy julle verskaf het, lyk julle presies soos hy wil hê julle moet lyk. Nie een van julle lyk soos die ander, want dis hoe hy julle gemaak het. En julle kan doen wat julle wil, dis die waarheid. Ek praat net die waarheid. Ek gaan nou afhandel en sê dankie vir julle tyd en vir Stanley 'n tydjie gee, net om te getuig wat het hy deurgemaak as 'n doelekop.
Hi, good morning. Unfortunately, I'm just going to speak English. I can't understand all because brought up in South Africa. And yeah, just a bit about my life. You know, I started drugs at the age of 19. And as a person before 19, I despised drugs. My brother used to smoke a lot of dope, and I saw how much trouble he got into with my folks, and I decided not to touch. So if a guy came along and he took dope, and he stood in my company, I would actually chase him away. Because I didn't want to be considered as a drug user or a drug addict. But unfortunately, when I turned 19, I started using. I came out the army, and I was mixing with a whole lot of guys that were doing it, and I ended up using. And the sad part of all that is that for 27 years, I used drugs. I didn't only just use, I actually destroyed many young lives by being a conduit to be used by the drug merchants. I was selling drugs. I got involved with prostitutes to sell drugs to them. I got involved with crack houses. People went and used drugs. So I saw a lot of bad things happen through the choices that I made. And at that time, I didn't think it was such a big deal. It was most likely my main hope to wees in die park. You're standing in the club, the main hope was all the nice women come to you because hey, they want this and they want that, and you're always asking little favors. So it seemed to be I was doing the right thing. But I can assure you, as I stand here today, at the age of 66, I know that I'm wasting 30 years of my life. I have no backup financial plan. I have 2 sons who don't even talk to me. And it is not, excuse me, it's not a nice thing when your child walks away from you because of your choices. And I was there like you are, denying that I would ever go to drugs, or alcohol, or cigarettes. One thing just a little small thing is, I've never touched a cigarette in my life. I think I did it once, and I never did it again. But I did everything else, which was 10 times worse. I don't advocate smoking, I don't advocate alcohol, because it's all a gateway to losing yourself. And some of the things that I had to go through while I was in this drug world and before I got to where I am today, was that drugs change the way we think. There's a chemistry, there's a chemical reaction in your brain that will make you behave differently. You start losing feelings for your family. It starts there first. It starts with your family because your family cares for you. Your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. They don't want to see you go down a bad road. But we always know better when we are at the ages you are at right now. I was the slim cook. I had always thought he knew more than my mother and my father and my brothers. So don't allow that, because really there is a chemical reaction. That is the one danger. The second danger is that they become health complications. I had a triple heart bypass. I've always played sport. I've been a footballer for many years. I've boxed. I've reached the top heights in all my sports I did. But when I got involved badly with the drugs, especially in the later part of my life, I've had a triple heart bypass because my veins collapsed. I almost died. I was on the soccer field and I almost died. Don't allow yourself to take drugs, because there are health complications in it. The third, the infections. I never injected myself in anything, but as you know, if you use a needle that somebody else has used, you can get infection through that. We all heard of HIV, and there's a very real possibility. If you are using the same needle as somebody else to use drugs, you could die and you could pick up that infection. The fourth point is financial problems. Ons soek altyd vir geld. Every minute of the day, I was like in prison when I was an addict. When I was an addict, my drug determined what I did when I woke up, what time I woke up, and where I was going. I had no control over those things, or at least I thought so. But you do believe that when you are taking drugs on a continuous basis, that is your life. When you wake up, the first thing you think of is, what am I going to do now? Where am I going to get my next hit from? En as jy nie geld het nie, wat kan jy doen? Sonder geld kan ons niks doen. Without money, we sit with big problems. And today I know how I have to work so much harder at 66 because I never planned for my future and for my old age. Because I wasted and squandered every single cent I ever got on drugs. I've spent more money than a lot of millionaires have actually earned in their lives. Because it wasn't always my money. It belonged to Satan. It belonged to the world that brings you down. Satan gives you a candy-coated vision of every drug or every abuse that you do. You don't see the abuse of what you do, because there's always an excuse for why it's happening. But once that candy is taken off, and there's only one way you can take away the sweetness of that, is by the sweetness of our Lord Jesus Christ. Through Him we can do all things. But I'll get back to that. Then injuries and death. I used to drive around in my car plenty. Goofed out of my bracket or drunk out of my skull. I could have caused an accident. I could have killed somebody. Or I could have killed myself in that car accident. So remember, guys, we can. And the last thing to out of that is relationships. Our relationships with our friends, with our parents, with our siblings, with one another, with your classmate, can all be destroyed by the use of being affected by drugs. So, as I end off, I stand here because of the life that Jesus Christ died for. He died for me. My God is my everything today. And because of Him, I can stand here, just as Brendan has been saying, that we were there. And my prayer to each and every one of you is that you don't have to go through this road that I had to go through. But I am grateful that Jesus Christ is alive, and that He lives, and that He dwells in each one of us, and He's knocking on the doors of your heart to reach you. So answer that door. I thank you.
So it's all about choice. Make the right choices. Don't be shy. And if your friends tease you because you're making the right choices, remember you're on the right road. They're the ones on the wrong road. And 1 out of 6 children will end up experimenting with drugs. That is a statistic. Don't you be that 1 child out of 6. Rather say no to drugs and yes to life. And recovery is possible. Recovery is possible. My name is Chaplain Bernadine. I'm from Missing the Road. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. If any one of you have a problem with drugs, or you just need to chat to someone, you're welcome to contact me. I will get back to you. You can leave me an inbox on TikTok or on Facebook. I will get back to you. And what you discuss with me is confidential. I'm not going to go tell your parents. I'm not going to tell your principal. I'm going to tell no one. Okay? It'll be between me and you, and I will assist you wherever I can. Thank you.